Welcome to another episode of Where the Rubber Meets the Road. It's with a heavy heart that I introduce this week's topic. In light of the recent tragedy involving the MV Barima, this week's topic is grief. I'm hoping that this episode can be of some utility to those in need. So for persons that have been affected, whether directly or indirectly, by this tragedy, my condolences and my prayers are with you. And for persons that know someone that has been affected, if you believe that this video might be useful in any way in helping them navigate this trying period of their life, feel free to share it with them. So I intend to first discuss what is grief and what it's constituted of. In other words, what it's made up of. Before moving on to how to deal with grief. And finally, provide you some tools that I hope you'll find useful in helping you navigate this period. So to begin, what is grief? And for persons that are currently in the thick of it, experiencing it, they'll be able to tell you better than most that grief is psychological and emotional pain, hurt, or discomfort that comes as a result of loss. So grief is usually constituted two main emotions. This is regret and fear, or guilt and fear. So why guilt? Why regret? Guilt, persons usually experience immense levels of guilt as a result of all things they didn't get the opportunity to do and say with the lost persons. A lot of this guilt stems from opportunities that they will never have again. And there's nothing worse than navigating guilt or regret in the light of it being an impossibility. There are often times when we have regret, but we can yet to do things, change the situation or the outcome. Death is a final curtain, and it offers us no final opportunities to say the words we should have said, to do the things we wish we had done. Moving on to the pain, to the fear. Fear is essentially a physiological response to impending danger, and our nervous system reads having to live or exist in a world without the lost person as uncharted territory, and there's usually a lot of anxiety that stems from this. Persons usually have to begin processing a reality that is absent of the persons they lost. And imagine the anxiety you would feel doing something for the first time, or going somewhere for the first time where you have no reference of how to navigate it. Now imagine that times 10 and compound it with the regret, with the guilt of not having future opportunities to say the things you should have said and do the things you wanted to do. And if you're capable of conceptualizing that, you have some insight into what grief is like for the person's grieving. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it and say that there's a good way or a good side of dealing with grief because there isn't. And to the persons dealing with the loss of loved ones, I can't begin to imagine the level of anxiety and fear you have looking into the future, looking into a future without your loved ones. I can't begin to imagine the guilt and the hurt that you're currently experiencing at the thought of never having another opportunity to say, I love you, or be there for those persons. I would advise trying not to focus on the means of death, because this only makes it worse. You already have enough happening that is beyond your control. So how do we move forward from here? How do we navigate the space of existing in a world without the persons we expected to be around for much longer? So far, the best approach I've been able to come up with or experience is understanding that death is the transitioning that we all experience. It's the destination that we all arrive at eventually. Unfortunate it is that your loved ones would have arrived before you, before us. But we have a responsibility in their name, in honor of their memory, to do the best we can moving forward. So, if you will, take a moment to imagine the best parts of your loved ones. Parts of your loved ones that you know would have wanted the best for you. See that version of them smiling and know that they would have wanted you to experience the best possible life. And then realize that in light of this, you now have the responsibility to do this. In light of this, know that the responsibility is now yours to honor their wishes by trying to navigate this process in the best possible light and live your life in a way that is in a celebration of theirs. And doing this would require you to gather the tools necessary to navigate this process, because it is what they would have wanted. So what are the tools? What are some of the tools that will help you to navigate this process, this phase? Understanding, one, that it's okay to cry, it's okay to grieve, it's okay to hurt. There is nothing wrong with feeling hurt. There's nothing wrong with feeling guilty. But in light of your responsibility to live a life that they would be proud of, you have to do it in a way that will afford you the highest probability of coming out of this in the best possible manner. So instead of looking into the future 1 year, 2 year, 5 weeks, try doing 10 minutes at a time. If you can manage just for the next 5 minutes, then just focus on the next 5 minutes. For the next 5 minutes, what do I have to do? For the next 5 minutes, what am I going to do? The next 5 minutes or the next 10 minutes, or how much you can manage, or the next half an hour is all that exists. Whenever you find yourself thinking about anything beyond that, or anything that doesn't require your attention beyond that, try to remind yourself to return to the present. Try to remind yourself that you're doing this half an hour at a time, 10 minutes at a time, 5 minutes at a time. And it's perfectly okay to break down. It's perfectly okay to not feel like doing anything. But the same way you are entitled to hurt, you're entitled to cry, you're entitled to moments where it's just about you being, it's just about having a rest, it's just about allowing your nervous system to come down. And in those moments, you focus only on physical sensations of relaxing or finding distractions that are healthy, finding distractions that would not compromise your health. So we have taken it a few minutes at a time. Another tool that usually helps is distracting yourself by breathing. Allow yourself to take long breaths, inhales, and allow yourself to enjoy the act of exhaling. So one way of distracting your mind in those moments that you're dedicating to yourself is perhaps 7-second inhale, and you exhale. As you exhale, you allow yourself to feel your nervous system relaxing and give yourself a few moments to enjoy that. It's a small act, but it does wonders for regulating your nervous system, for distracting your mind from the constant barrage of thoughts and emotions that you will be experiencing. Remember, having someone to talk to, having someone to reach out, having someone to check in is always a good idea. So if there's anyone that you can ask to check in on you, if there's anyone you can rely on to come over and gaff or keep your mind off it, it will come in handy. Other things that help with the grieving process is exposure to nature. Outside, look at the trees, allow yourself to bask in the sunlight, allow the sunlight to hit you early in the morning, preferably. Take off your shoes, walk on the grass. Understand that you are stronger than even you realize. And this process will require you to call upon strength you never knew you had. But it's in this process of rediscovering your strength, rediscovering your ability to navigate harsh and difficult times, do you not only become a version that your loved one would be proud of, but you also become a version that can inspire those around you. My number is 691-5356. For anyone that might just need to talk. Services are free. Feel free to reach out. Remember, you don't need to take it a day, a week, or a month at a time. Sometimes a half an hour, 10 minutes is good enough. So, as I said before, my condolences, my prayers are with you. You're stronger than you think. Enjoy.